Hi guys, welcome back. So we've got both teams out for the first test and I want to do a bit of a comparison of where maybe I see a little edge going in this first test. But of course it's very subjective, good fun, and I want to know where you think maybe there's some mismatches in these two teams. I mean, what's so good about this tour? There's plenty that's not so great about this tour, but what's so good about it is that in 2013 in Australia, I think it was pretty clear that the Lions were favourites. In New Zealand, well, even though the Lions had a really good squad out and you voted it your best, it was fairly clear that New Zealand were the favourites, even though Lions managed to get a draw in interesting circumstances. But here in 2021, it's not clear who is favourites at all. I had say South Africa were edging the favourites, but looking at the teams, it's pretty close. And indeed, South African fans are umming and erring over certain parts of their team, as are the Lions fans. So really, really fascinating from that point of view. So looking at the front rows, now there is an opportunity here for the Lions because South Africa are starting with their slightly weaker front rows and bringing on their stronger props, certainly. So, Furlong and co have a chance here to get into them. If they don't get some sort of scrum, not dominance, but penalties, upper hand in this first half, then it could be, there could be trouble because it's going to get harder when, of course, the bomb squad, Kitsoff, Marks and Malherbe come on. It's going to be awful. So I think that's quite big. They need to get the upper hand in the scrum early on because that's probably their only chance. Second rows. Now, if Alan Wynne-Jones had played a lot of the matches, was fully fit, up to speed, I think you might say it's fairly equal. But I think you'd probably tip it to the South Africans just because, it's a settled pairing they've got there. Etzebeth and Moster are playing really well. Very, edge the physicality potentially. It's close. A lot will depend on Alan Wynne-Jones' fitness, but I am edging that one to the second rows of South Africa. In the back row. Now, normally South Africa, you'd say, yeah, they'd probably edge it in the back row if they had a fully fit Khaleesi who had played a couple of games. Pieter-Steph du Toit's been playing great, he's not a problem, and if they had Vermeulen fully fit as well. But they don't. Khaleesi's just come back, Quagga Smith's come in, which, he's a decent player, but he's no Vermeulen. And then the Lions have gone for a very balanced back row of the big Courtney Laws, hard-hitting Courtney Laws, Tom Curry all over the place, and the skills of Conan. It just looks a little bit more balanced, certainly a bit fitter, so I think I'd actually edge the back row to the Lions. Now at half-back, unsurprisingly, I'm giving the edge to the South Africans. They've got their prime number one pairing of de Klerk and Pollard in place, ready to rock and roll. Price, now I'm happy he got in because on performances he was the best scrum half, but how does he handle it under pressure? How does he handle the game when the Lions are defending for big periods? They're the ones that we don't quite know. Biggar's a very good player. Is he quite a Pollard? Maybe not, so I think definitely edge there in the halfbacks to South Africa. In the centres, you've got the power pack duo of Deolandi and Am, their star pairing, so good defensively, very direct, super strong, they know each other's games inside out. Then we've got kind of the new pairing, if you like, of Henshaw and Daly. Lots of skill, a bit quicker, a bit more kicking. So it's a very interesting, contrasting centre partnership. It's close, but I think the tried and tested partnership of Deolandi and Am, I would slightly give the edge. But like I'm going to say at the end actually, or I'll say now, the Lions are a team set up for possession actually. They've gambled here a little bit. They're a team that's very quick, very skillful, that want to move the ball around. The starting team, I don't think, is purely set up just to defend and try and diffuse the high ball game. They haven't started all their best defenders and all their best high ball players, and that centre partnership is a case in point. The Lions need ball. Hence, going back to that scrum, they need to get an edge in the scrum. They need to win the line out or get some decent line out possession. That's going to be fascinating. In the back three, with South Africa, they've got their star back three back together. Question mark over Mapimpi's fitness potentially, but Willemse could come on quite nicely if he's struggling. Colby's obviously the star show, who looks like he's lining up against Van der Merwe. Now, of course, the Lions could move their wingers around if they wanted, but then so could South Africa. So let's just assume it's Colby versus Van der Merwe. That's a big showdown. Then the skills of Leroux. It's more settled. Now, the back three of the Lions, they're throwing the dice a little bit here. They're going for the power pack, Van der Merwe, to cause problems. And again, that's great if the Lions have plenty of go-forward ball and they can use him effectively. They've gone for the more attacking Hogg as well, as apart from Williams. So again, positive stuff. But if they don't have the ball, if it's a kick-chase game, I think you may potentially push it towards South Africa again in the edge in the back three. Very close. And then on the bench, we know all about the South African front row to come on. That's very impressive. In the back row replacement, I think actually I'd prefer to bring on Byrne and Hamish Watson as an impact back row. So I'd probably say edge in the front row replacement to South Africa, edge in the back row to the Lions. And then half back, well, Elton Jantjies, a lot of South African fans weren't too happy him being in there. He's exciting, but he's not overly reliable. Herschel Jantjies, good player. There's a lot of... It's interesting. On the Lions side, Murray, Farrell and Williams are very reliable, good kickers, lots of experience, but they're not exactly impact. And then on the South African side, I'm not quite sure of the quality. It's not tried and tested. So for completely different reasons, I give that fairly equal. So that's how I see it. How many edges to the Lions? Well, going 1, 2, 3 edges to the Lions, and then the rest to South Africa. So I'm still saying South Africa are slightly edging this as favourites from my team comparison. So I'd love to know where you see the matchups in your opinion of the two teams and where you think the game's going to be won and lost. Anyway, guys, I will catch you next time.